Lord of the Mysteries. Chapter 924. First key factor at carrying out risky operations. Can't enter. The 7 lights can't enter for some special reason. Is this a restriction Calderon City has on higher level creatures in the spirit world? However, how does Miss Messenger know of this limitation? Has she been there before? If that were the case, I didn't even need to ask Red Light or the magic mirror. Perhaps her spiritual intuition told her that. As his mind whirred, Klein slowly and silently exhaled. He then took out a gold coin and handed it to Rionette Tynker. I understand. Thank you for the information. After one of Miss Messenger's had bid on the gold coin and retreated into the spirit world, Klein allowed his thoughts to roam as he considered how he could find other helpers. Mr. Azek has entered a state of slumber. It's unknown when he will wake up. There's no way to wait for him. Will Septon is about to be born but is only a baby. He is still at a nadir. And even if Ma'am Hermit has a way to temporarily restore his power while he is weak, it's impossible for him to do something as trivial as being my bodyguard. Besides, once he leaves Backland or showcases his corresponding level, there's a very high chance that he might once again be locked on by Angel of Fate Ouroboros. Get the help of a demigod from the life school of thought through this snake of fate, such as that Counselor Ricardo? That will be difficult. The life school of thought is suffering an internal divide. The counselors have too many things to do. Besides, they're running all over the world with the die of probability to leave traces to divert the Angel of Fate's attention. Queen Mystic Bernadette? I'm not too familiar with her. Besides, the fool has demigods and angels under him. A blessed like Gehrman Sparrow can always find other help. Even if I claim that it's a cooperative effort, it will also expose quite significant problems. On the surface, the fool has angels and demigods under him. But the actual situation is that at the angel and demigod side is the fool who's just photobombing them. The chief from the City of Silver? This is indeed something that could be used as a price when he makes a request, but the problem is that he's unable to leave the forsaken land of the gods. I think I should leave this opportunity for the Bizarro Bane. Those geezers of the Sanguine? There's no suitable reason, and it's very easy for me to be exposed to Lilith. Who knows who that dead ancient goddess who hasn't truly perished is? If she is actually the primordial moon in disguise, I can forget about resurrection. Klein thought of one candidate after another, but one by one, he struck them off the list. Finally, he couldn't help but sigh. When in need, friends are always in short supply. He couldn't help but think of setting up a ritual to attempt to pray to the Evernight, the Crimson for strength, to seek the blessing of the goddess, hoping that she could directly bestow him with the true soul, body, and powder of a spirit world plunderer, or have some archbishop, high-ranking deacon, or secret ascetic to provide him with help. Unfortunately, all he could do was muse over the idea without actually carrying it out. Although Klein was rather accepting of the Evernight goddess, and wasn't against the identity of being an Evernight blessed, he still felt extremely wary. He didn't wish to rely on a deity's bestowment for everything. Besides, he suspected that similar rituals wouldn't have any effect. This was because, with his present level and strength, he had no right to raise conditions with a sequence 0. If the deity was willing to give, then she would naturally give it to him. If she didn't, praying was useless. If I have the shamelessness of old Neil, I might really try it. Back then, the goddess was willing to respond to his debt payment and resolve his constipation. She dotes on her believers pretty well. Of course, there must be certain side effects. Klein recalled the past as he sighed. He decided to change his train of thought. Since he couldn't get help from friends, he considered making use of his enemies. Perhaps I can bring the Black Emperor card, Tyrant card, and the radio transceiver. I could wait at the entrance of Calderon City. As long as King of the Five Seas Nast, High Sequence Beyonders of the Church of Storms, or leaders of the Rose School of Thought like Sua and the other demigods and angels rushed over, I will immediately enter that city of the dead. No, that's too explicit. King of the Five Seas Nast and the high sequence beyonders of the Church of Storms are highly unlikely to follow me into Calderon City. Instead, they will stay outside and wait for me to come out. Abomination so might chase after me, but he is an angel. He wouldn't be impeded by anything in the periphery of Calderon City. I'll only be inviting trouble to myself. After repeated thought, Klein finally gave up the idea of creating chaos for his benefit. He believed that it was difficult to replicate the same situation outside Byam City from back then. It was even more so when he wasn't a high-sequence beyonder. A person who treads the edge of the abyss would fall into it sooner or later. Who else can provide me with help? Klein's gaze swept past his two marionettes as friend after friend flashed past his mind, including the members of the Tarot Club. Suddenly, he recalled something. Miss Sharon once told me that the Tuttensis II mummy is one of the keys to her advancement ritual and is very important to her. This also means that she's about to become a demigod, sequence 4 puppet of the mutant pathway. If she succeeds, I can get her to help. We have had a good partnership. Thankfully, I chose to help her. Otherwise, I wouldn't have any hope today. As Klein reeled in poignancy, he took out paper and a fountain pen. Placing the paper on Enzo's back, he scribbled, "It's been a while since we last met. I wonder how you've been recently." As he wrote, Klein suddenly stopped. He felt the opening was too off and hypocritical. Miss Sharon is a person who restrains herself. When she writes letters, she goes straight to the point without saying anything unnecessary. I have to consider her personality and be more frank. Klein thought for a few seconds before raising the previous slip of paper. Shaking it, he made it become engulfed in scarlet flames. After a few seconds of deliberation, Klein wrote on a new slip of paper. I've already acquired the spirit world coordinates of Caldero and City. If you've already become a demigod, I wish to cooperate again to receive some help. If not, there's no need to force it. I can still find other friends. Sherlock Moriarty. After folding the slip of paper and addressing it to Ma'am Miriam, Klein took out the adventurer's harmonica again and blew it. Rionette Tinker, in her dark and complicated dress, walked out of the void as though she had never left the vicinity, appearing right in front of him. Klein handed her the folded slip of paper and a gold coin before seriously exhorting her. Send it to Backlund, Hillston, 126 Guard Street. Throw it directly into the mailbox. All right, one of Rionette Tinker's head said while another head but on the letter and gold coin. Upon seeing this, Klein pressed, somewhat worried. You haven't lost the previous map, right? Do you know which borough Hillston Borough is? Do you know where Guard Street is? The three other heads which Rionette Tinker held replied. No, I know, it's very easy to find. Klein immediately heaved a sigh of relief as he politely sent off Miss Messenger. He temporarily threw the matter of Caldero and City to the back of his mind and began disguising his marionette, Ludwell. The next morning, a man, with brownish skin, light curly hair, and was dressed in a formal loan attire and a silk half-top hat, entered Tnix City that bordered a forest with his two servants. This was a city that mainly produced timber, rubber, and special products from the forest. There was talk in the town that a few hair-growth research centers and the complementing factories were established here. Having disguised himself as a local, wealthy man, Klein quickly found a hotel to stay in. Sitting on a reclining chair made of rattan, he observed his handiwork once again. Winter Enzo's skin was not only bronze, but it was now almost completely black. Together with his thin and soft hair, bushy brows, and dark shadowy facial outline, matched with Ballum-style baggy, creased pants and a black and white top, he looked like a typical example of a local servant that hailed from a particular plantation manor. Admiral Hal Ludwell's rather resplendent clothes had become the same style as Enzo's. His exposed skin had clear burn marks, and his silver mask was now dyed with a uniform iron-black color. This made it look as though he had been disfigured due to a fire accident, and that he was wearing a mask to hide his face, lest he scared any passers-by. After having his lunch which was served to his room, Klein heard stacked illusory prayers. Mail. Mr. Hangman? It's also possible it's Emlyn and Little Sunday. The transaction of the sequence 5B under characteristic of the vampire pathway is about to begin. Klein was just about to head for the bathroom to take 4 steps counterclockwise and head above the gray fog when his spiritual perception was triggered. He hurried, activated his spirit vision, and saw the headless Rionette Tinker appear out of the spirit world, which overlapped with the real world with a letter in a head's mouth. "Miss Sharon has replied?" Klein first thanked her before receiving the letter and tearing it open to read. "Sorry, I will likely still need another 1 to 2 months of preparation. If you still need my help by then, I'll be fine with it." Sharon. 1 to 2 months. It's not like I can't wait. It's not like I've digested my marionettist potion yet. Klein nodded indiscernibly as he got a pen and some paper to reply simply. "Take your own time. There's no rush. My matter isn't urgent. I can wait." Sherlock Moriarty. After handing the letter and gold coin to Rionette Tinker and getting her to send it to Backlund, Hilston Borough, 126 Guard Street, Klein suddenly thought of a problem. During wars, scouting is necessary. How can I be rash and so careless about exploring a dangerous place like Calderon City? When Miss Sharon advances, I can head there to do some scouting and gather some intelligence without the need to take risks. For example, I can figure out exactly what restrictions there are, what kind of anomalies will happen towards death domain powers, or I can figure out whether I'm only able to enter by a fixed entrance, or if I have any way of directly returning above the gray fog from inside. After confirming all of this, I can formulate a plan and make preparations. Of course, before scouting, divination is necessary. Klein soon made up his mind and walked into the attached bathroom.